Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the last live stream time slot here on day 2 of the Australian Men's and Mixed National Championships here, hosted by South Australian Men's and Mixed Netball Association here at Netball SA Stadium on Ghana country. I'm Ian Brady and I'm joined alongside Bradley Tanner, and we'll be commentating tonight's game between the Southern Dragons and West Coast Thunder 23's division. Game 4 for both sides tonight, a lot on the line for both teams as they play the second leg of the Bingham Cup series, a best-of-3 series between the Open Men's and 23 sides. Bradley, do you want to tell us more about the history behind the Bingham Cup?
I will, and thank you for that, Ian. Yes, night 2, the Bingham Cup was formed in 2018 after the sudden and sad passing of West Australian President Bruce Bingham. He had very, very close ties to both South Australia and Western Australia and advanced the cause of men's and mixed netball for many, many years. So the two state organisations formed the Bingham Cup. It started as a tournament between the men's and mixed. This year we've gone, it's actually a 2-game tournament this year between the Open Men's and the 23s. The Open Men's with WA having a 29-goal lead going into tonight's game. So South Australia, to snatch the Bingham Cup for the first time, will need to win this match by 30 at least. Tall order.
Big ask. So in saying that, game 4 for both sides, how have Southern Dragons performed in this division?
They've had a really strong start to the week yesterday, defeating Queensland Regional 23s 55-33 and Queensland 20 Regionals 59-21. This morning they lost to Victoria by 9, 40-49, but they are sitting 2-1 and sitting the same as Western Australia.
Yes, Western Australia have performed exactly the same with 2-1. A bit of a disappointing loss, losing to Vic 20s last night and going down by 1 after leading by 9. So I know both teams would want to come out here firing and really trying to get a win over one another.
As the players are just taking their last warm-up. Night 2 action. It's been a wonderful nearly 2 days already after 3 very long years of no competition. It's great to see all the states back out here. So moving into this game, where are the strengths for the Western Australian 23s?
I think the attacking is pretty strong. There's strong combinations over these players that have played over the 3 and trained over the past 3 years, but unfortunately haven't been able to put it out on nationals. As well as you spoke about the Southern Dragons playing in the Premier League, we have a lot of boys in the 23s that play in the same domestic league team back in WA. So a lot of strong connections out there, but I think where it would be lost is in the defensive end. Will WA have a strong defensive end against what would probably be a strong Southern Dragon attack end?
Absolutely, and the Southern Dragons attack end currently Jacob Sell, Jack Hamilton and Chad Nelson. That's a very, very strong threesome back there, as we await the umpires to cross the court. And we're still waiting for the umpires to cross the court. They're taking their time. We've already got action on the other 3 courts here this evening.
While we wait, I'll just go through the lineup for the West Coast Thunder 23 boys. We have Bailey Taylor in goalkeeper, goal defence Robert King, wing defence James King, centre Connor Rawlings, wing attack Jack Davis, goal attack Daniel Perella, and goal shooter Max Denham.
Western Australia with the first centre pass. And while they're going down the court, I'll give you the South Australian starting lineup.
Great swing there from Max into Connor Rawlings, and a great feed into Daniel Perella.
Jacob Sell with the rebound, looking to offload, heads to Chad Nelson in the pocket. A little bit claustrophobic here at the moment.
West Coast Thunder setting a mid-court press in the middle, trying to go for a fly.
Jacob Sell bringing the ball down.
A great middle corridor there.
Jalen Newchurch, the captain, looks into Ben Ryan. A little bit too much on that off ball. Over the top and taken nicely by Luke Humphreys.
And great shot.
South Australia break the WA centre pass. First goal of the game, Jalen Newchurch to restart for South Australia and throws it straight out on the near sideline.
I recently heard Jalen got his 25 games as well.
Yes, he did.
So congrats and shout out to Jalen on that. Huge feat.
Western Australia looking for inroads. The South Australian defence are making it very, very difficult for them.
Contact call, so Denham steps in and nails that one. Well done.
Breaking the centre passes at the moment. Western Australia to restart.
Great depth there by the goal attack, Perella.
Oh, lovely pick up by Jack Hamilton. Isn't able to finish it off.
Big swings from WA. I'd like to see them shorten it up a bit. Great
Lovely,
triangle.
lovely pop over the top. Early lead to WA. Newchurch to restart for South Australia. Ben Ryan off balance, manages to get the pass off, but the call was made. We'll wait for the reset.
Goal defence out of play.
Oh, cross-court ball, it's always dangerous.
Great intercept there from Connell Rawlings, really cutting the line of the ball there.
A little nervy start by both teams to open this one. 12 and a half to go. And there we go. Lost control of that one. Ben Ryan down the court. Jalen Newchurch driving hard to the circle, is ignored.
Great on and off by the Southern Dragons, really being patient with the ball here. But another, obstruction there.
High ball in and held ball. Jalen Newchurch doing a lot of movement off the ball. I'm not really sure if any of the movement is actually opening anything up. Probably needs to tighten that up a little bit.
Oh, and quick threes here already.
A little bit quick. I think it's fair to say the defensive pressure by both teams is very strong, and both attack ends are really finding it hard to move down the court. Newchurch to Nelson. On the transverse, back to Newchurch, away off from the circle, puts the high ball up, but it's not good enough.
A bit of background on Bailey Taylor, the goalkeeper. He actually is new to the squad, very fresh to netball as well. He's actually a footy player, so great elevation from him.
He definitely read that one well and just pushed the goal shooter back to take that space as WA look to press the ascendancy here off the turnover. Penalty in the pocket. Jack Hamilton nearly getting up to take that one.
Great shot there, Daniel Perella.
Daniel Perella finishing that one off, giving WA a 3-1 lead. They have the centre pass.
4 minutes and only 4 goals. So very low scoring so far in this quarter. But I think, as Bradley said, it's credit to the defensive work on both ends.
A lovely mid-range shot there. Keeping in mind, South Australia need to win this game by 30 to snatch the Bingham Cup for the first time off Western Australia. Newchurch down the middle, goes back to Chad Nelson. Pass not put into space and is knocked out of court. South Australia with the throw-in on the far sideline. Ben Ryan makes the leave, but he's completely ignored. There he is, taking it on the sideline. Back to the transverse line. Jack Hamilton looking to reset. There's no one coming forward for South Australia at all. Options. It is absolutely stationary. Big swing across the circle.
Oh, great work, Bailey, to get around.
Bailey Taylor's really doing a number on Luke Humphreys. He's got the feet moving, and Luke just cannot get that holding position. He's being knocked off the line of the ball constantly.
Let's see if West Coast Thunder can transition this ball down to the attack end. Great drive by Jack Davis in wing attack, and a great connection there between Rawlings and Davis. Great feed. And Perella slots that one. 5-1 with just under 10 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Thunder looking to extend their lead here. Great circle edge by Davis. Great release into Max Denham. Contact call there by the keeper. Penalty pass. Ooh, and he can't finish it. Great rebound there.
Jack Hamilton is really known for his elevation. He has a lovely leap to get off the ground and take that rebound as South Australia press down the court as quickly as possible. They have to go all the way back into the defensive third. Jacob Searle with the ball to Jack Hamilton. They are all at sea at the moment. They cannot get down the court. And another clean take there by the WA players.
Great work, Jimmy King.
There's just no life in the South Australian team at the moment. It's like they've all had decaf coffee before the game.
I think with it being so late in the game, both teams are really suffering and hitting a wall, it looks like. But Good to see the intensity working from both teams to get the ball back when they have lost it, though. So they're not giving up just yet. And with 8 minutes to go, I think both teams are looking to settle their play now.
We've got rolling substitutions at this year's Nationals. We have a new wing attack on for South Australia, looking to inject some speed and get down the court. Ben Ryan pops front, presents.
Great pop. Balance and shot.
There we go. 6-2, WA with the restart. 8 minutes left to play in this first quarter.
Bradley, how has the 23s division's preparation been in the lead up to Nationals? I know you spoke that it's been a number of days. I think in the opening ceremony they said it was over 1,000 days since we've last played. So how have the Southern Dragons gone over the couple of years before leading to this moment now?
Well, unfortunately, they've lost a lot of key players who have unfortunately aged out because of all the COVID postponements. They've aged out. 2 of them, 3 of them actually are up in playing open men's at the moment. So it's a reasonably new team. I do understand they've had a really good training season coming into this. They've done a lot of work with the open men's as an extended squad. So they have a lot of experience there. They've just got to find something as Jack Hamilton looks to inject some excitement into the South Australian team.
Yeah, it's great to hear, and I think the West Coast Thunder 23s did the same thing as the Southern Dragons. Really worked close with the open men's to build that intensity with them, and I couldn't agree more. A lot of players in the 23 age division aged out, including myself, so I worked closely leading this team in a vice captain role, only to age out last year. So a lot of the boys suffered a bit of disappointment, but great to see the pathway that so many Southern Dragon 23 players could be elevated into that open squad.
And it is the natural pathway, really, at this tournament, is the 23s are your future open men's players. So it's just natural to have them train with each other as Ben Ryan gets things restarted off the goal line. And it is just an absolute mess. They cannot penetrate into the circle. Taken quickly, right under the post. Hopefully that's a bit of a settler for South Australia as they're down 8-4, 6.5 to go in the first.
Just the timing off there from West Coast Thunder, not giving the first ball, thinking that there's going to be another option, but there's no other option. Max Denham comes out of the circle, swings it to Connor Rawlings. No option, triangle play. Good tip
Lovely
there.
tap by Jack Hamilton, gets it to Jalen Newchurch, but there is nothing offering down the court. Ben Ryan has to come very high. In the pocket, another poorly placed
intercept.
ball. There's just not enough on those passes from the South Australian attack end, and the WA defensive end are just absolutely eating it up.
Big swing on transition, connects with the wing attack, Davis. Stuck on the sideline here, Thunder. Look to center it into Connor Rawlings. Great 1-2 to get on circulage from Davis. Releases the ball into Denham. Under the post, slots it. Just under 6 minutes remaining. Still under 5 goals. Great center pass pressure there from West Coast Thunder. Southern Dragons attacking really up high and stuck on the sidelines. They'd look to center it. Great work.
Chad Nelson's having to do a lot of work for a wing defence to get this ball into the goal third. Hold on there, but it's not really offered. Now it's offered, and the pass again is just poor. That pass should have been 2 passes ago as Western Australia fly down the court. South Australia just caught napping. They're slow on their feet. They cannot get near this ball at the moment.
With just under 5 minutes remaining, Bradley, what do you think Kirsty Leonard-Downs would want to be coach of the 23 Dragons, would be wanting from them? She
needs to get her players to start moving their feet and getting ahead of the ball. It's not even about waiting for the second phase. South Australia are just not getting into any phase. Their timings are off defensively, their timings are off attackingly. They really need to find something to inject some life back into the team as Jack Hamilton goes for that. Not quite there. Far side, Western Australia with the ball, looking to extend the lead out to 7.
Obstruction call. A bit disappointing after all that pressure they did put on. You want to stay in play for those moments to give your circle defenders a chance to go for a hunt. As Max Denham scores that one.
It's too easy for the Western Australian feeders to get those high balls in because there is no pressure from the South Australian midcourt on that around that circle. They don't even have to get near the circle to feed it in. Newchurch, far pocket. Ben Ryan drives on the baseline.
Great read, Taylor. Just unlucky and good shot there.
A good take by Luke Humphries as he gets South Australia's 5th. 6 goals the margin in favour of Western Australia. They have the restart.
Good reset option there from Connor to connect back to the defenders.
And again, just way too easy for the mid-quarters to drive onto the circle.
I think that's definitely one thing Coach Trina Pehe will be really happy with their attacking is hitting circle edge and giving those feeds into the shooters. Ooh, footwork.
Cooper Williams is now on in centre with the rolling substitution. Went for a bit of a run with the ball there. Slightly offline pass that caused him to go off balance. I mean, this has been such impeccable play from Western Australia. I actually don't think they've made a substitution yet at all. As they restart.
Oh, great middle corridor. Every ball has gone middle corridor, and it's been really great brand for West Coast Thunder in this game.
They're able to do it. There's no hands over pressure from the South Australian boys. They just look completely lost at the moment.
Yeah, I think a huge thing Kirsty will be wanting is just more first ball contest.
Oh.
Is that a contact call?
It is an offensive contact call on the edge of the circle. Is this the injection that South Australia needs?
We need more prep work from the Southern Dragons doing prelim movements. It's very static. And the huge ball goes flying.
For whatever reason, just decided to launch the ball from the edge of the transverse line into the goal circle and goes out of court very close to 3 seconds there.
The replay showed that did hurt from Rob King going down in the circle. Great connection there in the middle. Great ball outlet to Perella in goal attack. Gives it back to Davis and great ball in. Perella just had to catch that with 2 hands.
Ian, you're the Western Australian coach. You've got a margin of 7. You don't even look troubled this game. What do you say to the boys to keep them motivated, to really put the foot on the throat and not let South Australia back into it?
Trina Pehe, the coach of the 23s, and Len, the assistant coach, are both really hard taskmasters. So errors like that won't leave the coach pretty happy. So it's about nailing the basics. So although there's a lead, I still think this quarter is a bit scrappy from both teams. And I think Trina would just want them to consolidate turnover balls and bringing it down. So still a lot of room for improvement in that defensive end and just making sure that they're consolidating turnovers.
South Australia get a much-needed goal. 12-6 down. Western Australia with the restart. This looks a bit better defensively from South Australia. They're actually getting hands over the ball. Near pocket. Jacobs Hill getting caught behind the player again. Lovely mid-range shot, unlucky. Contact call before the ball went out of court. This is South Australia's chance. 50 seconds left on the clock. They need to score this turnover. Jack Hamilton has no options and just has to force it down the court. And the result is WA have the ball easily. Well, commentators curse there. They got it in easily. They just didn't look to the post to shoot.
Great defense there from the attack end of Thunder just to put pressure on their transition of the Dragons.
Cooper Williams on the far side. Ben Ryan doing a lot of work in goal attack. He really needs to stand up and lead. Very close to 3 seconds. Didn't even look at the post. Looked to get a pass off. That wasn't even there.
Skill execution on that one. Just needed a bit more height on that pass. As we see it getting a bit frantic now.
And that does it with that whistle. Quarter time here on night 2 of the Australian Men's and Mixed National Championships. It's WA leading 12-6. And by my maths, that puts the lead in the Bingham Cup for Western Australia up to 35. So South Australia really with a lot to do. As a Western Australian, Ian, and you don't want to give free advice to the South Australians. What do they need to do moving forward? I really find that their defensive pressure is not there. There's not a lot of hands on the ball, and your boys are just getting the ball down the court easily. Where are you seeing the problems with South Australia?
I think the defensive just need to work on being proactive in their defense, and that's setting up early. So, as I spoke about earlier, the boys love middle corridor. So what the Dragons would need to do is just sit on the inside and really push the WA boys out wide into the corridors, forcing them them to have a fly for the defender. So if they're on pressure on the corridor, they have to swing that ball. So, and that's when the Dragons can come for the fly. So especially with it being night 2, the boys are fatigued. Work smarter in setting something up rather than just being in chase mode.
That's always the saying, work smarter, not harder.
Absolutely.
It's very evident. Western Australia just love bringing the ball down the middle of the court. Every opportunity they get, they will look to go to the middle corridor every single time, and it's just an easy drive to the top of the circle and then an easy feed in. It's really surprising because the 2 South Australian defenders should be reasonably good in the air, but tonight they've just been absolutely outclassed by the Western Australian shooters.
And I think that's really testament to the strong connections that have been built in that attack end for West Coast Thunder, with 3 of those boys, the centre, goal attack and goal shooter, having played with each other domestic league and nationally for over the 3 years. So a big task for the Southern Dragons to try and break that connection. But like you spoke about earlier, it's about setting up early and you know, really working the ground. It's
almost they've got to let WA take the first phase pass and just sit back a little bit for the second phase and have a go at those ones. I mean, these boys know how to play netball, and Kirsty's coaching record is one of the top in South Australia. So you know, it's not like they're not being misled at all. It's just that they look tired, they look all at sea. Hopefully this is the reset they need. As we can see down there, Kirsty getting very, very animated with the bench. And it's all smiles and chills down on the Western Australia bench, which really is the tale of the game so far. 12-6, Western Australia are sitting pretty.
And I know that the Open men's coach, Lorraine Ward, also in the mix there, helping the 23 boys just with a bit of strategy as well. So great to see that as well. So, Bradley, do you think any changes will be made for the Southern Dragons team heading into the second quarter?
Well, I can see one already. Saxon Hay coming on into centre. He is an electric player. He's actually one of my players to watch tonight. I was surprised he didn't start. As we finally get a bit more bright in here with the TV lights finally turned on, we can actually see a little bit now.
And see the names.
That's right. South Australia to restart. We just need to reset some of the signage in front of the bench. And we're away. So Cooper Williams nearly broke, then takes the ball back to Saxon Hay. Ben Ryan swinging to the top.
Just the final execution. It was a great play until that moment.
It was. The shooter is just not, it's a new shooter, I believe. He's just not having that hold. Right on the sideline. Saxon Hay in the far pocket.
And another costly turnover there for Southern Dragons. Not the start that Kirsty would want from her team.
Western Australia, again, just bringing cross-court with no pressure on the pass, and another cross-court ball. These are the ones that the South Australian players should be having a go at.
Oh, the timing off from West Coast Thunder. Everyone driving in the same area, but they finally get the connection and a turnover there.
Well, consternation at the umpire. I actually do believe that came off Jacob Searle, but South Australia with the restart. Jack Hamilton inside the circle.
Must convert.
They do. And I mean, this is still their centre pass. Chad Nelson on the far side goes, Saxon Hay free, goes for the hospital pass.
Sat in the air for a day and a half.
It absolutely did. Lucky to have the ball. Ben Ryan pops out, mid-range shot. Well short, but does get his own rebound. Took a break from netball to play football, back in the Dragon setup. He will be the level head down there for some of the newer players. Usually a goal shooter. It's nice to see him running out at goal attack, actually.
And get that big, tall arms up in defense as well. Ooh, risky pass there from Thunder. Just a reminder for those at home, this is night two, sorry. So a lot of the players would have already played earlier on and yesterday. So not surprising to see a bit of the players feeling a bit fatigued on this day or night. So the players just really have to work smarter and really let the ball move, as a lot of the attacking is being static on both sides.
And considering we haven't had matches for 3 years, it's very difficult to be match fit in time. It's probably come as a shock to probably every single player here.
Oh, great
lovely drive by Cooper
corridor.
Williams, straight to the top of the circle. This is the injection South Australia need.
That
2.5 minutes in, they've halved the margin to 3. Western Australia with the restart.
And a huge crowd input on that last goal, so it's good to see the Southern Dragon fans in the crowd really getting up and cheering their boys as we see another defensive win from the Southern Dragons.
Whatever Kirsty said at the break, it certainly lit a fire under the South Australian boys. Again, this is the issue they have. Everyone's running backwards and no one's willing to prelim and come forward. WA with an easy ball at the top of the goal third, looking to stem the flow of goals from South Australia.
Yeah. Great pop there from Max Denham. He'll look to settle West Coast Thunder with this goal.
That's the settler for Western Australia. Back out to 4. Saxon Hay will restart for South Australia. Again, not a lot on offer. Chad Nelson driving hard out of defence. Cooper Williams into the pocket. Big swing over to Saxon on the other pocket, and a lovely drive. Needs to finish. This is the stuff South Australia need. Quite a short shooting circle for South Australia too.
Great defense from the Southern Dragons to keep the ball up high in the court. As you see, Jack Davis just not being patient enough with the ball. Really needs to add a bit of fakes in there because it's becoming a bit predictable on the pass. And Southern Dragons picking up a lot of ball this quarter already.
Kyle Frost in at centre for Western Australia, as there's a lack of communication there. That's interesting, and we'll get to Kyle Frost a little bit later as Saxon Hay has the ball on the edge of the circle. Stepping there by the South Australian shooter. Back onto Kyle Frost. Overlooked for selection for this South Australian team. Was only on as a training partner, and Western Australia have picked him up. Is this going to come back to bite South Australia? Not yet, because he just dropped the ball.
Look, I think having, or anyone coming interstate, it's a huge adjustment. So I think for Kyle Frost, he'll be nervous playing against his previous side. So I think the boys have to really settle him in. And it's great to see him just getting on court, you know. So unfortunate that he couldn't get an opportunity with Southern Dragons, but you never know what other opportunities might arise. So great for him to put his hand up and really, you know, be out here on this court for Nationals.
Lovely drive by Ben Ryan to take that ball. All right, who's the one person WA on court have right now that's going to be that calm level head to calm his boys down and get back into this match? Because at the moment, it's a complete 180 of the first quarter.
It's funny you should say that. So Connor Rawlings, the captain of the 23s, who was in centre, has just come off, but we see him being injected into the wing attack position. So he'll really steady the attack end for them, and he's really that calm presence out on court that they will look to. So I think Petrina Pehi has recognised the franticness of the West Coast Thunder. So I think having his presence there will steady the ship for them.
And just like that, the margin is 1. 9 minutes left to play in this first half. Kyle Frost gets us restarted for Western Australia. Looking in for a long ball. Really, really poor option. Jacob Searle was all over the positioning of that one.
West Coast Thunder really forcing the ball into their circle edge rather than doing what they did so well, which is working the ball down to their shooters. Great work from Southern Dragons to really pull back this margin. Bradley, what do you think that the Southern Dragons have done well in this quarter to bring back the margin?
They've actually played front. They've played front position and not allowed the WA feeders to get those high balls into the backspace. They've actually put the defensive work in, and now it's paying dividends. And for the first time in the match, South Australia has the lead. In fact, since the first goal of the match.
Oh, great take there from Perella. I'm just really impressed with the Southern Dragons' intensity this quarter. I think Kirsty really had a chat to them about lifting their presence out on court, and it's not just one player, it's every player on court, and even the bench have rallied around each other to bring back this margin.
Big swing by Saxon Hay to Cooper Williams, and in the near side, Ben Ryan just drops back into the space.
And that was great work by the goal shooter as a decoy in the baseline to take one defender, leaving it on a one-on-one. So the shooting circle really working well for Southern Dragons.
The crowd really getting vocal now behind the Dragons. That's a lovely ball, lovely look in. Had all that space in the back of the goal circle. Brings it back level for Western Australia. Game on.
We do have a game on our hands here, and it's great to see that both teams have steadied into the match, and we're seeing some good quality netball.
Bit of miscommunication there from the Southern Dragons. Again, and Jack Hamilton just pounces on that ball.
Commentator's curse.
Not
Great
afraid
shot.
to turn and shoot over the defender, and that is the kind of lift that they need. It's a shooter. You don't see it very often anymore these days, a shooter getting the ball and turning. Chad Nelson with hands over that one. Called for the obstruction, though. Yes, what I was saying is you don't often see a shooter anymore just turning to the post and putting the ball up. It is lovely to see that happen.
And as a defender, that absolutely kills you when you see a shooter turn to post, doesn't even flinch and shoots the ball. As Max shoots it. Great work from both sides. 16 all with just under 7 minutes remaining. If you are watching on the Facebook, please leave a comment below and tell us who you're cheering for here in the crowd as well. As you see a
off
huge
balance,
swing.
had no options.
Oh, great defense there by the wing attack.
Cooper Williams, short player, really does get up and underneath you when you least expect that he's going to be there. See, look, South Australia holding in front of all their players and moving their feet.
Carl Frost really being shut out of this game. Interesting to see what Petrina will do in that mid-court position, because the South Australian Dragons have really nullified him for the attack end.
And do you know what? I'm going to say that's not a bad thing for Western Australia, because it takes Saxon out of the game, and he's far more dangerous than Chad Nelson is in wing defence. So if Saxon's keeping Kyle out, it takes Saxon out of the game as well. So it's going to give the Western Australian players an easier route into the circle.
Oh, back foot out of court, unlucky there.
That's unforgivable.
Coach Killer.
I mean, they've trained here for years, played here for years, all of these South Australian players. They should know where the lines are like their second home.
As I see, centre it to Carl Frost. Great hands over. The timing all off from West Coast Thunder.
Oh, lovely
all
read
in the
by
corridor.
Jack Hamilton. I think South Australia have recognised this. They're not allowing the WA players to get into that corridor and get the feeds through. As a late contact there and an obstruction leaves a 2-on-1 in the circle.
Great that they're bombing it, but I'd really like to see Thunder be disciplined in working the ball down. They have not done that at all this quarter, and it was really their bread and butter play in the first quarter that won them the first quarter. So it's a bit undisciplined for them to just use that as an easy outlet. Let's do the groundwork and work the ball down.
Western Australia with the ascendancy again, scoring the last 4. The lead is 4, just under 4.5 minutes to play. Jack Hamilton with the restart. Saxon Hay in the pocket. Nutmegs starting to get a little bit ill-disciplined here. Trying to force something. Saxon Hay on the edge of the circle. Ben Ryan's got a love. Here we go. Resetting the penalty in the right spot.
Good read there by Robert King. Unfortunately, didn't take his feet to the ball.
Oh, lovely second jump. Even better goal. 3 goals the margin now to Western Australia. Kyle Frost with the restart.
Just like to see West Coast Thunder middies just get more depth before they present up the court.
South Australia looking a little bit flat-footed again in the defensive thirds.
Oh, great defensive pressure there from Thunder. But then, once again, allowing the Southern Dragons to get depth there, an easy ball in.
And this is what Saxon Hay brings to that mid-court for South Australia. He has such speed and agility and height that he's able to create things that usually aren't there as he gets that feed into the circle.
Another long bomb there. Connor Rawlings need to be disciplined in doing the prep and getting on circle edge.
I find it really interesting they're still persisting with the long ball, considering both Jack and Jacob have started to get some touches and clean intercepts off those long balls in.
I can assure you Petrina will give him a mouthful in the halftime break. So look to see him really change that up. But yeah, I agree, Bradley. Like, they did such a great job in the first quarter working the ball. Why stray away from it?
Well, and we see it just there. They had the patience then to work the ball around the circle, use their angles, and a lovely ball under the post. As Saxon Hay gets us restarted to Ben Ryan. Cooper Williams off balance.
Oh, it doesn't keep it in. Unlucky.
It was a lovely take. He kept his foot just in and balanced to put the shot up.
Great defense there from the Southern Dragons, not allowing West Coast Thunder to have that quick transition that they had in the previous quarter. As we see an offside call there.
Chad Nelson protecting the top of the circle.
Yep, good front option. What's next? And another long ball outlet. Important to note that, that Carl Frost and Connor Rawlings, that would be a new combination for Thunder as well. So do keep in mind that these boys haven't had the amount of time as probably other teams would to build that connection with Carl Frost being in South Australia. So it's great to see that there's still a bit of connection there, but probably something that has to build over the tournament.
And a bit unlucky there. As we have a new goalkeeper for South Australia. Ethan Ashworth is on. And just a shout out to his legendary mother, because I adore her. Legendary Australian indoor player Kylie Ashworth is over there in the stands now, proudly watching her son play as Western Australia take the court. Saxon Hay with a lovely touch.
Like I said, even though they're down, they've fought back so much and the intensity has really lifted for them. So great to see them work so hard for each other and contest everything.
So Jacob Sell's gone into wing defence now. Kirsty perhaps looking for a little bit more height and a little bit more agility in that wing defence position. The lead is 5. We're under a minute. Western Australia with the restart.
Bradley, who would you think, as we are close to wrapping up the second quarter, really turned it on for Southern Dragons to have this quick turnaround from them?
I think it's equally between Jacob Searle and Jack Hamilton in the defensive end. They stood up and were recognising that they needed to get into that front position and started getting clean intercepts and clean touches from these balls. And I don't think the WA players were ready for it. They just went back to the old, we did it all the first quarter, we can still do it. But it's certainly changed, even though the lead is back out to 6. But this should at least give the South Australian boys confidence that they can do it and they can bring this back.
And now for Southern Dragons, it's just about consistency building into the second half.
It was a good 10 minutes. The last 5, not so good. Ben Ryan with the hold. Lovely take, lovely split.
Oh, great shot.
And that will bring us to a close for the first half here on night 2 of the Australian Men's and Mixed Netball Championships. It is the Western Australian 23s 24 leading South Australia 23s 19. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, watching in South Australia, and indeed around the world. It is night 2 of the Australian Men's and Mixed Netball National Championships, bringing you coverage of the under-23 South Australia versus Western Australia. It's also game 2 of the Bingham Cup. South Australia with a big deficit to claw back. They need to win this by 30. They find themselves 5 down.
As we see Carl Frost still staying in centre for this second half of the game. Oh, good catch there from Denham. Oh, no contact call for Carl Frost. Yeah, so great momentum for those that are just joining us from the Southern Dragons. They really fought back in the second quarter of the game to bring back the margin, but unfortunately the last 5 minutes cost them. So a bit of a momentum shift from both teams, but both teams looking to start strong here, but Southern Dragons having the upper hand, converting over the Thunder centre pass.
As we see some changes for South Australia, Ben Ryan has gone back into goal shooter, a position he usually starts in. Jalen Newchurch comes back on into wing attack. Chad Nelson getting the nod into goal defence. Jack Hamilton having a rest as they restart back to the transverse and just absolutely thrown away.
Great pick up there from Bailey Taylor there, sorry, badly in the GD. So a bit of a role reversal there. So Bailey Taylor in goal defence and James King in the goalkeeper with Rob King in wing defence.
WA looking to convert off this South Australian centre pass.
Great triangle work there from West Coast Thunder.
Margin back to 5. Kyle Frost restarts for Western Australia. It's weird saying that as a South Australian, seen him playing in South Australian colours. Let me tell you.
Another coach killer there from the Thunder. A stepping call from Daniel Perella. Great drive there from Saxon Hay.
And that's what he injects into that centre position, is just absolute speed down the court. Easy pop for Ben Ryan.
The connection between Saxon Hay and Jalen is looking strong already to begin with, so look forward to seeing what they can produce in the second half of the game.
Now, we saw this in the second quarter. South Australia came out really strong. Arlen Davis, maybe a little drag there, does drop the ball short and miss, gets called for the contact. South Australia came out hard at the start of the second quarter, but weren't able to maintain it. Can they keep it going for the remaining time as Jacob Sell gets a touch on that one? Really making it hard now for Western Australia to come down that central corridor, forcing them down across the sideline and big cross-court swings.
Long shot there from Perella. Good rebound from Denham under the post. Bit of a silly contact and obstruction here. And he gets a wording from the umpire, so really has to tidy up in this one. Just stay in play.
A friendly little tidy up from Stewart, the umpire there, I believe.
Yeah, and good to see the umpires really controlling the game, and a great shout out to them for all the work that they're doing over this national. So it's not just the players and managers and coaches that were affected, it's also the umpires. So big shout out to them, big love.
As much as sometimes we can criticise the umpires, we wouldn't have a tournament without them.
Very true, Bradley. Oh, what was the call on that one?
Out of court. It was a nice shove out of court, actually, and I thought he got the ball off before his foot grounded, but that's okay. He'll take the clean intercept anyway.
Yeah, Saxon Hay has been a real injection for the South Australian Dragon team.
Lovely ball to Arlen Davis. Needs to finish. Margin back to 4. Is this another push from South Australia? Saxon Hay gets us restarted in the middle. Davis on the wing. Back to Saxon Hay. Shallow pocket. Long ball in. Keeps it in.
Great chase for the ball there.
Benny Ryan able to get into the position to appear that he had possession.
And the sass, the swagger, the walk back. Good confidence from the Southern Dragons. And like you said, Bradley, a lot on the line here with both teams playing for the Bingham Cup. So for those of you that don't know, that this is a 2-game series between the Southern Dragons and the West Coast Thunder teams in men's opens and 23 and under division, with this being the second game. So a lot on the line here, and both teams playing for pride here, although that Southern Dragons have to get a win from 30 to win the Bingham Cup. They're doing a lot of work to make sure that at least they can end on a great game.
I mean, let's be real. I think the Bingham Cup staying in Western Australia. South Australia need to do something absolutely special to win this by 30. I don't think the Western Australian boys are going to allow that to happen. But what is on the line is early in the week, both of these teams are 2-1. One will go 2-2, the other will go 3-1 and have ladder ascendancy. As some lovely quick dishes and some balance work from the WA boys pushes the margin back out to 4. 10 minutes to play. Newchurch to Chad Nelson on the sideline.
Much better intensity in first ball contest from the West Coast Thunder, so I hope they can keep this up and really cause pressure for the attacking, because they've been phenomenal, Southern Dragons, in the attack end.
I think the inexperience of Chad Nelson is just showing a little bit as he didn't put that ball into the right space. Saxon Hay will take the penalty. Ben Ryan with a lovely hold.
Oh, great ball.
Whoa.
Coach killer from Bailey Taylor there. Just had to stay in play, but a silly contact call allowing the shooter.
I think all he needed to do was let Ben touch the ball, because he wasn't back on the court. They would have had the throw in. 3 goals the margin. 9 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Lovely long ball.
Yeah, great vision there. On that one, I definitely say give that one, because the shooter held the defender up high, so he had a lot of backspace.
I believe Ethan might have had his eyes down as well.
1-on-1, great ball, Connor Rawlings. Who do you think, Bradley, is the MVP or best player on ground for the Southern Dragons so far?
I don't think you can go past either Jack Hamilton, who's back on in wing defence, or Jacob Sell. I think it's between those two, and you could probably make a credible argument for Saxon Hay. He came on to centre in the second quarter and has really given them drive down the court, which is what they were lacking in the first quarter. So I reckon those 3 boys are probably even pegging at the moment. It's going to take the next 23 minutes to see which one of them really stands up.
Yeah, I definitely agree. A fan of the curls of Saxon Hay and a fan of his netball. So great hustle from him. I think he's lifted up the team.
And what about for Western Australia? Because there are best on court medals for each team given tonight.
Look, it's hard to tell right now. Each one is contributing a lot, but also a lot of mistakes. I think Bailey Taylor has done an incredible amount of work in defense and has really caused a lot of turnover. So I'd have to say him so far. I'd like to see more as the quarter rolls on, but Bradley, I'd say Bailey Taylor.
Yeah, I think that the beauty for Western Australia is that there's no passengers on court. Even the substitutions that have come on for someone like Kyle Frost, who hasn't trained with the boys until as of Friday, I believe.
Yep, that's correct. So as we spoke about earlier, Kyle Frost and that Connor Rawlings connection between centre and wing attack is new. So as we spoke about, that connection will happen throughout the national tournament. But great to see they're allowing him to settle. I think he settled in much better in the second quarter. Keep in mind, he is playing against his own state.
I think there would have been a lot of nerves.
I agree. So great to see him hold his own out there. As you see him hit the deck and go offside. Short ball there from the shooter.
And this is Ben Ryan's weakness, is sometimes the defender doesn't have to do much and will get into his head, and he puts that ball short. He was balking, expecting the jump, but it never came. Oh, Ethan with a lovely tap on that one. Had the position. Unfortunately, not able to finish it off. Jacob Sell come back into goal defence. Chad Nelson takes a rest on the bench. Western Australia push this out to 7 now.
Yeah, great patience then from Connor Rawlings, just waiting until an option opened up. Like I said, a bit of a patchy performance in the second quarter from him, releasing long bombs, but I think after chat in the halftime break, he's really cleaned up his game, so credit to Connor Rawlings.
Out to 8 now. South Australia need to stem the flow of goals for Western Australia. They need to find that spark that they had in the second quarter. Saxon Hay to get us restarted. Newchurch with the centre pass receive.
Oh, great
Lovely
1-2 play.
drive.
Oh, shooter to shooter, Froth, love, and he scores.
And I think, I don't know a lot about Arlen Davis. I haven't seen a lot of him, but I believe this is probably the weakest position on court for South Australia at the moment. But judging by that, if he can do that for the rest of the match, he's going to make the defenders' lives for West Australia a nightmare. Saxon Hay, his feet are so quick to get around and get that touch. Unfortunately, there is an obstruction on the wing defence. Jack Hamilton standing out of play.
Yeah, a bit of a coach killer, because I think that might have been allowed if that was not an obstruction. So unlucky for Saxon Hay, but keep plugging away. He's having a great game. As you see a obstruction call there from the centre for West Coast Thunder.
Lovely feed from Jalen Newchurch. Recognised where all the space was and just put that ball back. Ben Ryan waits and drains that one lovely. They need something, South Australia. They need a bit from the crowd help as well, I believe.
Yes, great to see crowds in the stands also cheering on the Dragons team, really rallying around them. As we see a great ball going into Daniel Perella on the baseline as he slots that one in, making it 36-28 with just under 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Jack Hamilton driving down from the defensive line. Arlen Davis on the far side, back outside to the centre third. Ben Ryan out of the circle. Saxon Hay on the circle edge, draws the contact. Lovely drive around and an even better shot to finish, and that's the kind of stuff they need. They need to start turning and draining those shots again.
And for those viewers at home looking at the WA kit, it is an Indigenous kit that was recently designed by a local Indigenous designer, Jareen Wyatt, a Wongatha and Yamaji woman, to assist with our away uniform design. A lot of the design is based on the connection to land, so a lot of pride for the boys in wearing that uniform, in promoting the inclusivity of our First Nations people in our sport.
It is a cracking uniform. It looks so good out on the court. As a coach killer, Jalen Newchurch breaks on the South Australian centre pass, but they do get it back. Jacob Sell to take it in the centre third. No, it's the goal third.
Great hands over pressure. Connor Rawlings trying to fight back to get that ball that he did lose, so good to see them still in it and wanting to fight back, even though they do have a lead.
Arlen Davis outside, swings across, and that elevation from Saxon Hay draws the contact. Spotted the hold that Ben had on it. A great ball in. Defenders' eyes were down and just sent that one like a bullet.
Yeah, great depth there from the goal attack, Daniel Perella. I think the defenders are leaving a bit too much space for him. Just need to shut him down. He's having great entry into the circle.
And I think that's probably what South Australia's strength has been, is that the WA boys haven't been confusing that space for the feeders. It's an easy read in as we look down the court again. Eyes were down, and it's just an easy ball over the top as Ben Ryan nails that one back to the form that all of us here in South Australia knows that he has. Margin 7, 2:28 left on the clock.
I think a lot of work has to be done is when the shooter goes out, Max Denham, the defenders have to keep him up because he's such a threat underneath the post. So the split circle isn't really working for the Southern Dragons, so they have to really shut it down.
Settler for WA. Saxon Hay restarts. Not a lot on offer. Jack Hamilton, the transverse
great
line,
circle
and
edge, Saxon.
How he managed to slip through there without a single Western Australia player knowing makes the easy feed into the shooters.
Centre pass there out to Daniel Perella. Sloppy ball into Carl Frost, but great hands from the man of the hour, Saxon Hay. Oh, coach killer.
That's yeah, Saxon Hay wasn't back on the court, so the throw-in had to wait to be taken, but a bit of impatience there. South Australia need this opportunity. It's a WA centre pass. They need to convert this turnover. Saxon Hay in the middle to Jalen Newchurch on the far side.
Great patience there from Jalen. Hit circle edge perfectly. Great feed. Great shot.
With every shot that he takes, Davis is getting more and more confident. You see it in his moves, you see it in his drives.
Yeah, Davis is really doing a great job on getting depth and running that baseline, as we see.
Short, but Ben Ryan there to take the rebound. Well.
Both going down. Great work, boys.
I think that leap there was more horizontal than it was vertical.
Patient ball here from Thunder, waiting for an option to open up. Nearly 3 seconds there.
Well,
big long ball into Daniel Perella.
I think there is an absolute case there for 2 held balls gone completely uncalled. They're just passing it around. They don't want South Australia to have a centre pass.
Both shooters caught up high, so both shooters just need to recognizing one needs to roll out and be a decoy to take a defender off, so it's on a one-on-one. So a bit of a rigid ditch being set up here, a bit of a screen, so let's see what they will do here.
As Saxon Hayes cautioned for, I believe, persistent obstruction. Stood out of play. The penalty advanced inside the circle.
Oh. Just with 15 seconds remaining, you'd want the South Australian team just to be a little bit more disciplined.
That's unfortunate. They could have easily held that up and not let WA score. South Australia will hold it up less than 3 seconds, so Saxon won't pass it.
Smart work there from Saxon.
So they'll retain the centre pass. And as we head into the final break, it is South Australia 33, WA 39. The scoreboard in the stadium says otherwise, so we'll try and get some clarification. WA are up. I don't think the margin extended. There we go. Now we're caught up. WA keep the margin at 6. Fair to say the Bingham Cup will stay over in the West for the next 12 months.
Woohoo!
An early win for Western Australia at these netball championships. What do the WA boys need to do going into this final quarter? Because it's evident South Australia can have really brilliant purple patches and really put the pressure on Western Australia.
Yeah, for them, I don't think they'll be taking this game lightly because they will verse them again. And I think they have got a bit of scared to see what South Australian Dragons can bring when they play their great form. So I think it's going back to the drawing board and nailing the basics. They had a great game of playing middle corridor, went away from it in the second quarter. And in the third quarter, kind of patchy with sometimes they were working it to circle edge and sometimes they were lofting it. So I think this quarter we'll see some new changes from both teams, but I'd really want them to play some clinical netball just to finish off the game strong.
Absolutely, I think, and the message Kirsty will be drilling into the South Australian boys is to keep that intensity going for 15 minutes and to enforce the point that they know that they can do it. They know they can get these turnover balls. They know that they can convert the turnovers. It's just making sure they have the belief and the drive to want to do it for 15 minutes.
And that's the key thing you touched on, Bradley. It's the 15 minutes, and it's being consistent for that 15 minutes. And it's a 4-quarter effort, so I think Southern Dragons would want to head into the fourth quarter wanting to win this quarter and walk out this game knowing that they can produce that netball for full 15 minutes.
I think it's absolutely fair to say that that's how and why Western Australia are up by 6 goals, is that even though they've had patches where they've gone a little bit to water, they've managed to pull it back a lot quicker than South Australia has when they've gone to water a little bit. It was a lot of heads down, a lot of not knowing what to do. It just took the leaders of the West Australian team to tell the boys, heads up, we've still got this. And they turn it back on. They keep the margin at 6 goals.
Yeah, and it's something that the coach for West Coast Thunder would probably want to address. Let's have a moment in the quarter where we don't have that patch. I mean, great effort to come out of the patch, but why do we let it happen in the first place? So interesting to see what this quarter will bring, but I think Southern Dragons would want to finish strong for their fans who are cheering very loudly in the stand. Great to see the support from them.
We've got friends and family of the Dragons players as well as the Open men's team who played just before watching on. South Australia with a 6-goal margin to make up to take this match. Saxon Hay gets us restarted. It looks like the positions are still as they were. Coach Kirsty Leonard Downs has not made any changes. A lovely ball into Ben Ryan. Patient and nails it. First goal, that's the one they need to start.
Davis starting strong with a great feed into the shooter.
And we have a ball issue.
While we wait, great work from everyone in the comment section. I'll just read a few comments. We have Janine Vaughan saying, "Go SA, make us proud," doing a fantastic job. We have Mandy Love saying, "What a comeback from SA," and then Thunder fighting back to get the lead again. So keep posting and keep doing your shout-outs for who you're supporting, player-wise and state-wise.
And of course, as of tomorrow, the live stream moves over to Play HQ, starting from the very first match at 8 a.m. We have action across every grade, 2 courts streamed at a time. You don't want to miss it. Oh, I thought Ethan Ashworth got the touch there, but it's called back out. Hamilton out of play. Kyle Frost with the penalty. They're really confusing the space. They don't know where to feed it in.
Great job. Box out. Oh, great rebound from the goal defence. Great fight.
Jacob Searle with a great take. Didn't want to let that one go. Draws the penalty. Receives the pass from Ethan Ashworth. South Australia streaming down the court. They look more lively. They've got more movement.
Oh, Saxon Hay to look down the court. Jalen was free.
Absolutely. Big cross-court ball. Ben Ryan with his big hands manages to trap it and bring it down.
Jalen circle edge beauty into Davis, and he nails it. Claps his hand and rallies around his team as we see the crowd go insane.
Saxon Hay with the restart. Unfortunately, Jalen not able to take that one in. That's going to take the wind out of their sails a little bit. WA need to capitalise and steady.
Yeah, a bit disappointing. They had such great momentum, and to let that centre pass go, you'd want to consolidate that and put the pressure on West Coast Thunder early.
Oh, lovely. Just confused the space there. The South Australian defenders forced the error. Jacob Searle down the court. Back to Jack Hamilton. Saxon Hay on the far side, looking to get back into the middle, but there's nothing on. Working it down that far side, and Ben Ryan just turns his body, and they need that. The margin's back to 3. It's getting very loud in here now.
The crowd are going insane. Another momentum shift in the game, with Southern Dragons doing a great job in lifting the intensity up to begin with in this 4th quarter.
WA need a settler. They haven't scored yet this quarter.
Brad, do you think that the Southern Dragons will take this moment and recognise that they can produce this? It's about now for the rest of Nationals playing at this level.
I think they do. The 23s has always probably been South Australia's best grade. They know that they can do it. They know they should be, that they're definitely finals worthy. They just need to, for the next 12 minutes, really put the foot down and show people that they can do it, and more so for themselves as well, as Saxon Hay just finds the circle edge so easy.
The front cut from Davis, absolute beauty. Went around the defender and got the contact call. He's had a blinder. Started off shaky, but great 4th quarter from him.
Lovely hold by Ben Ryan to get that rebound. Finishes the shot. We're back to 3. Kyle Frost to restart.
As we see Jack Davis there being injected to the game in wing attack. It's a bit of a break, but it'll be interesting to see what that combination looks like between 2, I'd say, fairly inexperienced players in Jack Davis and Kyle Frost.
Oh, Saxon Hay. He was the one.
I mean, we're not biased, but he's having an absolute blinder.
I think he's probably... I don't get a vote, but in my eyes, I think he's been... I look at it as who would make the most impact if they were on the bench, if they weren't on the court. And I think if Saxon wasn't on in this game, this would have been over at the end of the 1st quarter, without a doubt. He has single-handedly really brought the drive down the court for South Australia as they do cough the ball up. WA go wide. Oh. Jack Hamilton keeps it in.
It's in.
It's a high ball.
As the players fight for possession.
It's for South Australia. What an effort by Jack Hamilton. Around the back, no vision. That ball went so high it came down with ice on it.
Great to see all the players fight for it, but it is Southern Dragons who win possession of the ball, so let's see if they can consolidate this on transition to a goal.
They need this. They have the centre pass next. If they get this, they're in within 2. Centre pass, they can get it within 1. Short, doesn't get the rebound. WA need to get this out cleanly. South Australia need to try and do everything they can to keep the ball down there. Ben Ryan!
Oh, no. As we see Luke Spadano being injected into the centre role, so a bit of a nervy start from him. He is nursing a bit of an ankle injury.
I can tell by the run. It looks quite gingerly.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. It's his first game with the injury.
Oh, it's called back. The key thing now is who's going to keep their head. All it is going to take is a rough call from an umpire and somebody lose their call, and then that could be it. Oh, keeps it in. Saxon Hay with the drive. South Australia need to score this. Look down the court. Jalen Newchurch gets the hospital pass. Quick pop into Ben Ryan.
Oh, that was such a hospital pass, but great work from Jalen.
And drains it. We're within 2. The crowd are becoming the 8th player on court for South Australia. Saxon Hay with the restart. Arlen Davis gets the receive. Nothing on, has to go sideways.
I think West Coast Thunder needs a player to really settle them at this moment. And as I say that, we have Connor Rawlings, the captain of the side, in the rolling subs box as Luke Spadano comes off and Connor Rawlings into that centre position. A really pinnacle moment now with under 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and great fight back from South Australia.
Margins 1, WA with the centre pass. WA's defenders are getting expensive in that circle. Rawlings with the ball. He needs to be that level head for WA.
I just think Southern Dragons have done an amazing job to shut down the wing attack. I think they have not had any impact in this 4th quarter, and it's done them a tremendous job to set up their defence end.
Oh,
Good
well
hustle.
done, Ben Ryan, to control that out to Jack Hamilton. Oh, that's a terrible ball. That's the thing South Australia doesn't need right now, is just lob balls in like that to nobody. Got to put in the work now defensively.
Yes,
easy ball
connection.
down the court.
Great ball. Connor Rawlings.
Ethan Ashworth with a little bit of momentum there, taking out.
Yeah, no malice in that one.
No.
I thought it was a great contest.
Margin back to 3. WA stem the flow of goals from South Australia. Rawlings will take the centre pass.
No one really wanting it. Ball going everywhere as we see Connor Rawlings take the centre pass. Does not give the easy option to Perella off the centre pass.
Advantage contact.
Davis throwing his body and everything on the line to fight for that ball.
Oh, Jack Hamilton nearly with a touch.
Oh!
Cleanly takes
And
it,
he
draws
wins
the
it.
call. The South Australian fans are on their feet, willing their boys on to get the win. Newchurch to Ben Ryan, popping at the top. Out and back in. Ben needs to drain it. It's good. The margin's back to 2. South Australia with the centre pass.
I totally agree with you, Brad. It's who can be cool in moments like this. A lot of pressure.
Ben Ryan is that cool head. He shows no emotion.
Oh, falls short. Great rebound.
Reset the penalty. King moved off a little bit too early.
A pivotal moment here for South Australia as they go down by 1. Not trailing by much, but West Coast Thunder need to score this. It's a critical moment for them just to be cool and calm.
It can't be Rawlings on his own. Who else needs to stand up for WA now and be a level head?
I definitely think that Perella needs to inject more in the attack, and him and Connor Rawlings and the goal shooter Max Denner have played for 2 years. That connection cannot be as frantic as it is right now.
And as we say that, WA turn the ball over, popping it out of court. Ethan Ashworth will get us restarted on the sideline. Jack Hamilton with the S. Saxon Hay again.
Oh, great medal corridor.
Jalen Newchurch, and that is brilliant. The crowd go nuts for that one. We are level. 6 minutes left. South Australia have shown the fight that they've shown in the 2nd and 3rd quarter. The thing they got to do now is keep it going for another 6 minutes.
As we see in wing defense, Caleb Dark entering. He's also a debutant for Nationals, so a big shout out to him as well.
A lovely ball from Newchurch over to Ben Ryan. This to give South Australia the lead. Drew the penalty. He'll have another go. And it's in. South Australia with a 1-goal lead. WA with the centre pass. WA now playing catch-up.
must
Saxon
execute the
Hay!
basics, right? As we see Saxon Hay go for another fly.
They're really making it hard for the WA boys to get a look in.
Absolutely.
Penalty outside.
Great take there from Daniel Perella. Can he make this shot?
Ethan Ashworth just caught flat-footed behind his player as WA level it up. Jalen Newchurch a little bit flat-footed also coming out for that centre pass.
5 minutes left. Let's see which team can really hold their own on the centre passes. And we see Taylor go for a hunt.
That is unlucky. Both keepers went for that ball. One of them got a hand, but it left both shooters under the post. Stuart Ting asking the players to get the ball back to the centre promptly. South Australia by 1. We restart. Jack Hamilton! Jack Hamilton has taken the ball clean out of the air. Saxon Hay switches to the far side. Goes back to the transverse line. And again, hits the top of the circle. And Ben Ryan just pops so close.
Oh, Taylor, good crack at it. Unlucky on that one, but great work from the Southern Dragons.
Out by 2. South Australia have the centre pass. I will say the WA defenders are looking flat-footed themselves. Now they need to start getting back into that front position. Newchurch with the ball. Offload to the side. Yeah, really average pass there. Not a lot coming from it.
It's a bit scrappy now and a bit physical now with 4 minutes remaining, but good to see that with this score. Hopefully both teams can really settle now.
We know the Bingham Cup's gone to WA, but there are still table points on the line, and he draws the call. Who's got the calm head? Who's got the level-headedness? Nothing offered from South Australia. Ethan Ashworth with the held ball call. WA with the ball inside the circle.
There's nothing worse as a defender on transition and seeing no option. So my heart goes out to him, especially with 3 minutes remaining. You'd really want someone presenting on such a critical moment like that. Oh, great work.
Ashworth gets up, knocks it out of court. And do you know who else needs a level head at this point? The umpires need a level head. 3 minutes to go and a margin of 2. They need to keep control.
Great call, Brad,
Jack
as
Hamilton!
well.
Oh, he's gone offside.
A lot of hands from the Southern Dragons, and it's back-to-back. So although they won't get the ball now, it causes and sets it up for the franticness of WA to continue. So great work from them.
The WA boys look a little bit shell-shocked.
I think a lot of it is fatigued, but they also need to know that this is national, so they have to step up consistently in these moments.
Jack Hamilton just steals that one on the edge of the circle. It goes out of court. South Australia with the ball. He puts the throw in to Jacob Sell. Back to Hamilton. Not a lot on offer. Big cross-court switch. Ben Ryan out of the circle. He needs to make his way back in. Defenders are really
Good
doing
hedging.
it work on Arlen Davis, but Ben Ryan takes a lovely high ball. Gets his own rebound, this to make the margin 3. Take a breath, Benny.
Big shot here.
Margin
well
3, the crowd are getting right behind the 23s, boys. WA will have the centre pass. 2 minutes left to go.
Who can pull through in the last 2 minutes as we see, Saxon Hay!
Quick penalty taken. That is really, that's a level head. He knew the penalty was there, saw the circle free and just put the ball straight in.
And that's the experience from Connor Rawlings as we see an important turnover here. Dying minute left here. Who can hold their cool? Like you said, it's the two centres battling it out here.
Kyle
Saxon
Frost
Hay.
in a goal attack.
Well done.
Margin 1. WA with the centre pass. Not a lot on offer.
Oh, so close, Callum Dark. Resetting it, working it down. Playing the short ball. They really want to centre it to Connor Rawlings. Front cut here from Kyle Frost.
Obstruction outside the circle. Kyle gets free.
Oh, baseline. Oh,
He was out of court. He was absolutely out of court on that drive. Ethan Ashworth gets us restarted. Jacob Searle to Saxon Hay as he gets high off the ground again. Back to the middle corridor. They're working the angle, South Australia, looking for something on.
And a fly! Both players reading it really well.
Yeah, that kind of came off WA because
Taylor doing the convincing, yeah.
Arlen could, he was the shortest player there. There was no way he was touching that ball. Out on the transverse. Long ball into Ben Ryan. Doesn't take it cleanly. It's a fair contest. Not set. Wow, what's happened there? 25 seconds left.
Bodies
WA
flying.
with the ball.
Oh, the
drops it out of
fumble!
court. South Australia are going to win it. South Australia are going to steal this match in the fourth quarter.
Have to do strong D Thunder. Hands over everything. Must win ball back. Can an error happen here in the Southern Dragons? Saxon Hay, the real calm influence for the Southern Dragons. Great work.
And that's it. The umpire's up, the whistle goes, South Australia steal it, 47-46, and you see the joy on their faces. That was one they wanted to win. What a game to finish night number 2 here at the Australian Men's and Mixed Netball National Championships.
Yeah, absolutely gut-wrenching from WA to not walk away with the win after leading, but great to see the fight back from the Dragons, putting on a show, and like we spoke about, a real clinical performance for them in that fourth quarter.
I have no doubt these two are going to meet at some point in the finals, and we know that's going to be an absolute cracker of a match. The Bingham Cup stays with Western Australia. They take it on aggregate by 28 goals. But I think the under-23 South Australian boys are more happy that they get the points on the table. That's 3 wins now early in the championship. And I think it's fair to say the crowd finally found their voice late in that match and got the boys over the line.
Absolutely, Brad, and I think a huge influence that we spoke about in the Southern Dragons attack and was Saxon Hay, hands down, not only in defence but attack as well. Really worked hard to lift the intensity of the team and bring this win for Southern Dragons.
Well, Ian, it's been an absolute pleasure to cover this game with you. That is where we are going to leave it for this evening at the end of night 2. The result, South Australia under 23s 47, Western Australia under 23s 46.